Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today I am going to be chatting with a metal band by the name of Bright Black, and we've got two of the members of the band with us today, and we're going to be chatting all things metal. But first of all, cue the intro. And as if by magic, I am now going to introduce you to Talitha and Wit. Hi, guys.
Hello.
How we doing?
First of all, I should have checked before we went live. Did I pronounce your name correctly?
You did, yeah.
I don't know.
How we go?
How we doing, guys? We good?
Yeah, very good, mate. Yourself?
Yeah. How are you?
Yes.
You okay?
I'm very good. I've just literally got back from London today. We've been away for my partner's 40th, so obviously
nice.
probably won't appreciate me saying that live on air.
21st.
Yeah, 21st, yeah. But just to let the viewers know, I only met you guys like a week or two ago when we met you in Banbury in the Wheat Sheaf, and we were playing a show with you guys. So there was Monochrome and Sylvain. Yes,
That's it, yeah.
Those are the ones. My memory does work. I didn't drink enough, obviously, the weekend. And we met for the first time, and you were standing on a little box because you're tiny, and but you made a lot of noise. So I wanted to get you on and chat about your music, and obviously introduce everyone to your band. First of all, can either one of you describe who are you? What is your sound, would you say?
That's a question.
Go on, Whit.
I mean, we're described a sound. I think the closest I can sort of, we don't really have a genre as such that we call. We tend to say we're alt heavy rock sort of thing. But I mean, especially with the newer stuff we're writing now, we're definitely leaning into very much into metal territory with it.
Yeah. So
but
I would,
amalgamation of genres, the sound. But I mean, you could say it's very sort of Hailstorm's got that Blackstone Cherry sort of vibe at the core of it.
You have got a mix. I would have said I personally would have put you in a metal bracket. However, there were times where the especially that new song that I think you said that you were working on, which you can talk about in a sec. That song to me did feel a little bit more heavy rock, but like I said, the vocals led very much towards like an old school sort of like female Black Sabbath kind of vibe I had going on in my head. So
cool.
that's how I was hearing it anyway. But I really enjoyed it, which is why I asked you on. On the vocals, we don't get that many female metal vocalists. There's more now, I think, than there's probably ever been. But as a female front person of a band, how do you find it, like being out? It's just all these gangs of blokes all the time.
I mean, it doesn't really bother me so much. I think I spent so many years going to like Machine Head and Opeth gigs and things, and like there've been no women. I remember going to one show. They were like, "Put your hand up for a woman," and it must have been about 12 years ago, and there was just about 8 of us. Literally, there was like no one. I think it's getting. There is getting, more female, members of bands and things now coming through. I agree with you. I think it wasn't as likely before, was it? But I think it is happening a bit more now. It don't really bother me too much.
And who do you take? Obvious question. We're going to get into some really random questions in a minute, but obvious questions to ask you guys. But where do you guys get your influences from? As you know, you're a vocalist. We'll start with you first, Olivia. Where would you say your vocal influences come from? Because you can hear a real mixture of sounds in your voice live.
Yeah. So in terms of like the style itself, I mean, like what we're in, like obviously like Hailstorm, Flyleaf. But then I was brought up with like soul and Motown, so like one of the biggest influences for me was Stevie Wonder, which might give that kind of soul vibe that you get with what's going on with my voice. So there's definitely a mixture, and I listen to all different styles of music. But I think in terms of kind of the metal and the rock, it's definitely and I used to absolutely love Arch Enemy and back in the day. And,
Arch Enemy. And
it's just and it's been just trying to like combine that. Because I've only just started doing the heavier side of vocals, like I haven't really done it that much before. So it was just, I've been trying to just get better with that over time, and I think
How do
that's
you
just
find?
trying to, that's developing. And
Have you been finding that difficult on the voice the next day, or are you coping okay with the heavier stuff?
no, I'm all right with it now. I think to start with, I didn't do it properly, and yeah,
You can
I was
feel it,
like, this
can't you?
isn't right. I was absolutely killing me. I couldn't,
Yeah.
literally couldn't get through the show. But I think now I've kind of got to a point where I feel like it's a bit better. Um, I think I'm starting to control it a bit more. I think even Wit said the other day, like I'm starting to put a bit more of it, in some of the songs live,
Yeah.
like
Hmm.
kind of
Yeah,
adding a bit more heavier vocals
you
to
were
it.
really going for it the night that we saw you guys play. So, and obviously we played alongside you that night. There was some really great bands on that night. It was
Yeah,
really
yeah,
good. Um,
yeah. It was wicked. It was really good.
with the vocals, the only thing I'd say is with that heavier stuff, I found that when I first started doing it, oh God, I forget the guy's name, but I learned off a guy on YouTube, funnily enough, but is it Neil Tamplin, I think his name. He's got like this vocal
Okay, yeah.
rock, and he's got some brilliant techniques for keeping your voice in check, man. It's really awesome. What about you, Wit? Who are your idols?
I mean, in terms of influence for me, I mean, I'm very much a metalcore kid at my heart, really. I mean, a lot of the stuff I'm listening to and taking inspiration from. I mean, you've got bands like Trivium, While She Sleeps are my top band. So I take a lot of songwriting cues from Sean Long, their lead guitarist, and he's like their main sort of songwriter there. So I take a lot of influence from that. But I mean, I think the same as everyone in our sort of genre. I mean, I was brought up on the likes of Zeppelin, Sabbath, Pink Floyd, all that sort of stuff. So it's a real mesh of different things. And so I know with like Jace as well, he's big onto his sort of prog side of stuff. Like he's a Dream Theater boy.
Yeah,
Alex
I remember him
loves Thin
mentioning that.
Lizzy, the Beatles. So the four of us together, it's just a real melting pot of styles.
That's good though. That's we was chatting about this with my interview with a rapper called Cobra the other night, and it's like it's frustrating as well sometimes because you get comments, people saying, "Oh, they're trying to sound like these, they're trying to sound like this," but it's like, but that's what every band did, like
Yeah.
all the. I was listening to a song the other day, I forget the name because I'm rubbish with titles, and I thought it was the original, and I found out that it had been done like another 2 times before that person did it, and this was like in the 50s or so. I was like, so everyone's been sort of blending sound since the beginning of time. It's really hard to be original now in 2024. It's so
I found
difficult.
the safe bet with that is if you like a song, assume that a ska band did it in the 50s and you're safe. Because it seems to be every song was written by ska bands in the 50s.
It's mad, isn't it? Yeah.
Mental.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Look, guys, we've got a few people watching. So if anybody's got any questions, if you ask a question, your question will pop up on the screen like this and we'll try and ask the guys. Obviously, we've got a couple of members of the band not on the stream right now. So either of you two want to describe your other 2 members to everyone else? Be careful now. They might be watching.
Yeah, you go for it, Whit, I think.
Oh, God, put me on the spot.
Well, you're no longer than me, so you can have it.
I mean, like I say, with Jace, he's very much into his proggy side. So Dream Theater are a big thing for him, and he's a massive Pink Floyd, David Gilmour boy. And I think he very much comes from that sort of side of music. But I mean, the stuff he's done before. He spent a long time in an Evanescence tribute band touring Europe.
Cool.
And that.
Yeah.
So again, it's quite an eclectic thing. So it's like he's into one thing, but then he's done other stuff as well.
Yeah. Tribute bands can make some good money these days, can't they?
Yeah, I think they're quite from what I've heard of them. But
they did quite well,
Alex comes from. He did a lot of like orchestral sort of stuff. He was more of a percussionist.
Okay.
Sort of thing. And he's done things. He's played like the Albert Hall with that sort of stuff before, and but it's
very different.
You weren't lying about the mishmash of sounds, was you?
Yeah, it's very mishmash, isn't it?
Brilliant.
Yeah, fully.
I love it. Right then, here we go. Let's dive into some real questions now. Are you ready? Right. We're gonna get down and dirty. Oh, we don't want no scoop. Right. The rock scene, I think personally, is making a massive resurgence lately. It seems like I'm hearing more and more guitar music again, which is great, whether it's country, rock, southern rock, metal. It just seems to be a lot of guitar music about at the moment. The rock scene is all about evolution, but what's one element of classic metal or rock that you would like to see make a comeback?
God.
Because I think there's one thing that's missing from the rock scene, but I'll
I
mention
think
that in a bit.
in terms of the live setting, the theatrics, because I think, like, if you unless you're talking about bands that go and use all the pyro and everything,
Yeah,
you don't get bands doing what like the likes of Alice Cooper's done live, what Maiden do with their backdrops and everything.
the show.
There's not as much of that going on.
The show,
Yeah,
No.
yeah. It's just the theatrics. I mean, obviously you've got exceptions like bands like Baby Metal and like Parkway Drive put a great show on, but it just doesn't seem to be as much of a common thing as it was with like some of the 80s rock bands and that. They just seem to go like balls to the wall with it. Just,
We were discussing this the other day. We was talking about the difference between American bands and the UK bands, and the American bands just always seem to just, even not necessarily any better musically, but when you go and watch them live, you feel like you're watching a show. Like the stage craft, the way they do things, the way they dress, like just everything about it. Do you think British bands don't do that more so because, I don't know, do we find it cringe, or is it just like a British pompness that we don't like doing it? I don't know, because it feels like it was such a huge part of the scene. You think about Judas Priest, all the metal studs and all the rest of it and everything else. Now it seems to be like, and I'm guilty of this because I'm a weird shape and I can't get in clothes, and I'm never going to wear spandex.
oh God.
Although I'm desperately trying to get Andy to try it, but there's certain things I am starting to look at now when I'm looking online. I've been trying to look around London for like vintage rock clothing, and I am starting to think about it more now. I'm like, these are things that need to come back. And I think it's like, just rock music over the generations always produces fashion. And that's the only thing I think that the genre's missing right now.
Yeah, you are right, actually. Yeah, you are.
The
It's
thing
like
is,
a cultural
it's
thing,
where
isn't
do
it?
you go with it? Because I mean, in the 80s, you had a lot of sort of like the like you say, the spandex and the cat suits and all that, and all like the leopard print everything, and I don't know, it had a very sort of unique look to it. Whereas now, I don't know what you would.
We got like Sleep Token. I love that's why I like what Sleep Token are doing.
Yeah.
I'm not a huge necessarily fan of the all of the music, but I love what they're doing aesthetically. I think it's a really, really cool thing. But yeah, so I think that's one thing that needs to make a comeback. We all need to be back in spandex.
No one.
Do you know what? No, not on stage. Jeez. It's not enough. Do you know what I mean?
Well, you kind of look like you were. I tell you what you needed when you was on your little box with your light shining up. You needed like you need with that long cloaky thing that you was wearing, like your long coat, which I couldn't believe you were wearing, if I'm being completely honest, because it was roasting in that venue.
I always wear a cape. That's not my thing now. Literally my thing.
You need to get a couple of like fans underneath it as well, so it blows. You remember like Michael Jackson Earth song, like that kind of vibe.
Yeah. I did say that, to be fair, when we came to the stage, didn't I? I was like, I need a fan in front of me. I think I'm like Steve Vai on the just for, I mean, not even just for coolness, but just generally, because it's so hot. I mean, when we were there the other weekend, it was like an oven.
It was
literally an oven.
Yeah, giving people hugs on the off stage, and he's like, disgusting.
It's stuck to people. No.
Right, imagine you're opening a rock-themed restaurant. Okay, what would be the signature dish that represents your band's music?
God.
I knew these were going to be difficult, but
I was going to say something like ribs, because you said that, and I thought that sounds really tough. Like,
ribs
diner, so it'd be like an American-style diner.
Okay,
and I'd have an egg dish called the eggs.
An egg? Oh, what? Sorry.
I'll have an egg dish, like an egg breakfast, and it'll be called Close to the Eggs.
Oh, okay. Close to the
Yeah.
edge. Hang on a
No,
minute.
no one's buying that. Or just eggs and
I think
Just
he was
eggs.
I mean,
trying
yeah.
to he was trying to segue his way into the next egg way into see what I did, right? He was trying to
I'll say a
segue into
burger.
the fact that they
I would
have a
say a
new song.
burger.
You say a burger? Why burger?
Because you can just put loads of random stuff in it, and I feel like we're a bit random. Do you know what I
Wow.
mean? Like we said, there's like a combination of like loads of different layers, so we can have loads of different layers. There you go.
Do you know what? That is a solid answer. And I'll tell you what, seeing as you've mentioned seeing as you've mentioned close to the eggs, let's just play a little insert here now of
That's not the song though. It's not actually got close to the end.
That's horrendous.
We love chickens. Yeah, that's that song.
their new single "Close to the Eggs" is out. It's been out now for about a month. I'm going to play a little snippet of it now. Let's just have a quick listen over here. Let's have a listen.
Oh.
Right, if you want to listen to the rest of it, guys, you're going to have to go over to their YouTube channel and check that out. As you can see, Black Bright. I'll put links later on once we finish the live stream so everyone can go and check it out. But it's a great tune. It's a good video. Why were you chained to a chair?
That was all her idea.
So
That was your idea.
that was sort of my idea, to be fair.
We're learning about Talitha now. Let's go.
Well, the idea was that if you watch the whole storyline, basically it's about like being controlled by someone or like something.
Okay.
So coming from my own experience, I thought it was quite relatable to other people. But the idea is I get chased at the start, and then I'm like trapped in this. Well, it's basically like what was it? Like a spray thing in a wood workshop, isn't it?
It's a spray room. So it's a booth with like spray painting and that.
Okay. So
yeah.
where?
So I was in there, and then
go on, carry on.
Carry on. No. So it was just I was in there, and then like we got the light box underneath, and then we should have done a video of just how we videoed it because everyone was just circling each other, just whacking a light bulb over the top of it.
We had a light bulb.
It looked awful.
And we had to play out a shot. Me and Alex had to take it in turns with this long stick to just poke this light bulb. So it was awful. There's got to be videos somewhere. You can just see us just walking around with this stick.
It looks good though. It worked, didn't it? So there's no whatever works on set. That's the thing. I've done a lot of video shoots over the years, and sometimes you find yourself doing some really peculiar things, and it's whatever works, isn't it? At the end of the day. So, what was the inspiration behind that particular song lyrically? Who writes the lyrics, by the way? Is it yourself, Talitha, or is
me?
Yeah.
Me, I write them. Yeah.
So you mentioned obviously it being control. So do you write songs that are stories that you pull from other places, or a lot of it more sort of personal?
A lot of it's more personal, really. And sometimes I've written them over the years, like just myself, and then I like added it to what we're doing now. Yeah. So it was more of like a personal experience, really. And then I just think it's quite relatable to other people anyway. So, when the lyrics come from you, obviously, I mean, as a single as well, like it's just, there's more emotion in it, isn't it? Because you like understand what you're singing about rather than having to act it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So the idea was, being controlled, and then I come back in. I actually come to the in the video at the end, and this idea of like actually escaping that control and actually taking it back for yourself.
Yeah.
So that was the idea of the storyline. That's kind of what we were trying to get across, whether it did or not.
Cool. No, it is very good. So let's we're gonna dive into a world that's quite scary at the moment, and I've been using some new tools recently. I've got a YouTube video coming out about this really soon. I used AI to do something, and it was scarily good. But with I've seen other bands do this, right? So I'm going to ask you whether you'd consider it. with the rise of AI and virtual reality, would you consider a virtual band member in the band, or is metal all about the human connection?
I think you've got to have the human element.
Human. Yeah.
I think there's types of music, and it's no disrespect on those types of music, but there's types of music that you can do automated, and you don't need the human element as such. But I think for rock and metal, you've got to have that sort of human side to it. It's the cock ups, the being off tempo slightly, things that's what makes it human, and it's just not like on a grid as such.
Fast Car Sexy says, I like band members.
I love
Thank you.
I'm sure that I think they mean you guys.
They mean us, do they?
Yeah. I've got to be honest with you, right? I asked. I'm not going to say the name of the website because I really want to put this video out because it is quite frightening. I did. It's quite a specialist piece of AI tooling, and I basically asked it to write a metal song. So I thought, how's it going to get on with guitars, metal, screaming vocals, etc. And it did it, right? And then I did a little test, and the band they probably won't forgive me for this, but I told them that I was working with an artist, and this was a song that we started making, and Higgy's on there, so he will have fallen for this. The whole thing was AI, including the vocals. And I didn't write any of the lyrics. I didn't write any of the music. I didn't write any, and it sounded, well, bearing in mind, how good our guys are at music. They're all very talented musicians. I would have liked to have thought one of them would have spotted that this was AI, and not one of them did.
It's usually the drums that give it away.
Not anymore, mate. Wait till you see my video. This is it's frighteningly good.
Oh my god. Yeah, I was watching something the other night. I can't remember what his name is now. Look, he's got Deaf drums or something, and he just loads of gets those AI singers and stuff, and it's just great. It's pretty scary.
I think you can tell that it's
easier.
I think you can tell it's not human though, on the basis that it's so perfect that it's ridiculous. There's no life to it at all, but it does sound very good.
Yeah.
But no, I think live music, you have to see. I mean, ABBA, it's ABBA's fault. I'm blaming ABBA. They're the ones doing these virtual tours now where they're not even there, and it's all...
Yeah, it's supposed to be amazing. It's supposed to be really weird.
Yeah, but don't say that, because then everyone will be doing it. Because
love a bit of ABBA.
But this is my...
No, I don't think I'd want a virtual reality myself.
No. Oh, Higgy's on. Tributes do, mate, dollar. And he says Rammstein. Why the Rammstein reference? He just says things, Higgy. He doesn't give any context to things that he says.
The beauty of the bass player.
He's a bass player.
Maybe that's one. He's a bass. You can't even say that because you're a bass player.
You can say things.
We did an interview the other week, and some guy asked him a question, and he just went, "Yes." That was the total of his answer. So anyway,
no, all right, Alex just says yes.
let's get back to the questions. Right, touring is a big part of a metal lifestyle or any genre of rock. What is the most unexpected? Okay, we're gonna have to think a few years down the line. Now you're a big band, you're touring, you're doing something huge, right? And you get to pick a rider. Right, and if you don't know, you know what a rider is, right? Yeah, as in,
yeah.
You want to request for something backstage. What rider would you insist on having?
I think there's one must-have for me.
You can't say big bag of cocaine on this
YouTube
channel.
Chicken wings.
No, it's Robinson's Aqua Big Squash.
Oh, come on, mate.
It's the only must.
Is that's all you need after a show?
Well, you're gonna get an endorsement deal with Robinsons.
You need to, you need
to save you so much money.
You need to hold it up to the camera like that so they can see the label. So it's
the label that's all scratched off.
Oh, he's used it that much. That's a recycled bottle if I've ever seen one.
No.
What about you, Taliba? What would you have as your rider? Because people think rock and roll's all about sex, drugs, and
it's so hard. No, but I'm just really not materialistic at all. I just I'm not a diva. I think I'm not very diva-y for a lead singer. I need to be like an absolute diva.
So you wouldn't demand. So you wouldn't demand that someone separates all the blue Smarties for you and just puts them in a bowl. Seriously, it is
No,
like that
I don't
nowadays.
know. That's such a hard question.
Aren't bands so boring these days? I was like, oh,
I mean, we're boring, yeah.
and now I mean, like me, if like, you know, when you're in like a green room, you go backstage. All I want is a hot cup of coffee for the throat straight after, some vocal zone, which I always take everywhere, and usually it's like, I don't know, it's like chocolate or biscuits or something. That's it. That's all I would ever. That's all I'd want. I think if I got big, I would become a diva though, and I'd probably demand like the rarest kind of steak fillet.
Yeah, I think if I got to the point where people are like, look, what do you want? I'd probably pull something out and be like, yeah, get us this. But off the top of my head, I'm like Talitha, really. I don't know. I'm good as long as I've got something to drink. I'm happy.
Maybe like a backstage or arcade or something. Maybe like an arcade, like a pool table and a dartboard and like a little jukebox or something. I don't know, like something. It's really retro.
Something you can play and have fun with. Okay, so we've got Robinsons. Yeah. You sound like an easy guy to take on tour. And you want a gaming room.
Jace would have the finest whiskey. Jace would have whiskey.
Oh, would he? Okay. That's
I don't know about Alex. What do you think?
That's a good choice.
Alex would want any sort of sweets, and it'd be good.
Oh, sweets. Yeah. A lot of Ben and Jerry's freezer full or something.
I must admit, I don't know if you're the same, but because you have to travel quite a long distance, I think, and I always end up getting one anyway on the way home. If there was any way I could just have a Mackey's sitting backstage.
Oh my God, yeah, I literally just say that, yeah, fine, McDonald's. Yeah.
Okay, so we're all...
Every gig we play, at some point, Talitha will come out with, I need a Mackey's. And it'll either...
I have a Mackey's at every gig.
From. Huh?
I do have a Mackey's after literally every gig. It's really bad.
Do you want to hear something really interesting about Mackey's and why it's so successful as a business? So I heard this from a marketing expert, right, who said the reason the McDonald's is so big is because they're brilliant at not being terrible. Right.
I've heard this. Yeah.
And he was saying that Usain Bolt, 2 weeks out from an Olympic Games or a major championships, would only eat McDonald's chicken nuggets for his protein intake because he knew it was one of the safest companies to eat at with the lowest levels of food poisoning anywhere in the world. So he would only eat McDonald's chicken nuggets on the run up to an Olympics. I have no idea if that's true, but it does kind of make sense. Like, I've never had a McDonald's and been ill afterwards. Mm-hmm. Unless I drunk 15 pints previous to it.
Yeah, but that
so when everyone takes the mick out of me eating chicken nuggets, Usain Bolt did, so, you know.
Yeah. You watch Talitha
I am Usain Bolt.
You watch Talitha sprint to the bar after a set.
Yeah, it's either that or chicken tenders, isn't it? That's literally I am literally like a 12-year-old child, yeah.
I like
a good chicken tender's got here.
Yeah, do you not find that McDonald's chicken tenders are better than KFC's chicken?
Yes, they are. But then Popeyes is even better than that.
Oh, I've not tried the Popeyes.
That was Jace's fault getting me into that.
Oh dear. Okay, I'll have to give Popeyes a go. I do like my chicken. Right, if you could collaborate with a non-metal artist specifically, or rock, you can't pick rock or metal, artists of any other genre, dead or alive, who would it be and what kind of track would you make together?
Prince. It'd be Prince. Have to be, because I wouldn't have to do any work.
Got the man tattooed on my arm.
Yeah, it'd have to be Prince, and I just want to go full on, just like old school R&B, bit of funk thrown in there, just see what comes out. You know, that'd be like heaven for me.
Cool. What about you, Talitha? Who would you collaborate with?
I've already said Stevie Wonder. That's just going to be a question. Just trying to think. Oh, I don't know. Style-wise,
if you was to write a song with Stevie Wonder, though, and you could choose any genre or track to write with him, what would you write?
I don't know. We could go down a prog route because you can go like funky prog, like.
I want to
do anything.
Now I'm thinking I want to write with. Actually, no. I want to write with Randy Blythe. I've decided. Sorry, I've just changed my mind.
With who?
Randy Blythe from Lamb of God.
Okay, there you go. So that's a completely different choice. No, I love the fact that you mentioned. I love the fact actually earlier when you said about your vocal influences, you mentioned other things because a lot of the soul singers and a lot of the I first started enjoying the screaming sound. People think that that's a metal thing. Otis Redding started that back in the day. He was the king of the scream. Yeah, a lot of the blues, from the 50s, like loads of that, and it was coming out back then, way before metal was ever a thing or rock. Prince was the king of screaming in tune. I don't know how he did it, but he was just like the absolute. He was just phenomenal at it. But there's so many things that have come from blues. It's just ridiculous. Like they've almost been single-handedly responsible for every type of popular genre. You would have to say you got country, rock, metal. You definitely had a bit of a hand in everything. It's really interesting. I asked someone a question the other day. I saw someone ask a question to it was a much older actually black guy who could remember some form of segregation when he was a kid. He was really old. He was in his 90s, and he asked this younger artist. He says, which was a really strange way round of doing it, but he said, would you sacrifice all the pain and suffering that all of the black people went through during like the slave trades and everything else? Would you sacrifice all of that and make sure that never happened in history, went away, but then we don't get blues? I was just like, oh, what a weird conundrum of a question that is.
That's a hard question. That's a
because obviously you don't want that to happen, but there's no way you don't want blues to happen. And I think blues doesn't happen without all the pain and suffering. It's just I was like, that was a mind fuck of a question. I was that was awful, man. But that was an interesting conversation. I'll pin that in there somewhere as well for people to go and watch. It's really cool. So there you go. That's their collaboration choices. I think me and Wit have got the same one there. Yes. Right. I forgot what my questions were. Now I've lost them. Right. Okay. 2024. We are all about now pushing boundaries, as a lot of artists do of all genres. But what's one risk that you've always wanted to take musically but haven't yet pulled the trigger on?
God.
I told you these were going to be hard questions.
Yeah.
Really rubbish on the spot as well. Like, I feel like my brain just goes, nah.
See, I've got a few ideas. Like I've always wanted to do something with someone, because I worked with a lot of people back in the day, like operatic singers, and my singing coach when I was a kid was an operatic singer, and I've always wanted to mix some opera in with my songs, and I'm desperately trying to find someone to do like a collaboration with, but that's something I want to do, but it's not something I've done yet. I'd love to do it in the next year or so.
That's cool.
I think it's a hard one to answer really without sounding cheesy as fuck, because it's like terms of like collaborative cheesy. I honestly can't, like, I'm already in a band with the three people I want to play music with. So it's like I don't then sit there thinking, oh, I'd love to do something with them because I've already got that. But then I think,
sorry, Higgy. I think Higgy's had a few moments to think about what I said earlier, and he's just sent me a message saying you are so.
He's not just upset because you didn't say you want to be a band with him, or.
Well, sorry, I want to collab with Higgy. Yeah, sorry. But I don't know. I think I'm like personal.
He's furious with me now. Look.
Yeah.
Are you okay? Is he okay?
He's very sensitive. He's vegan.
Oh. My days.
Oh,
jeez. He loves chicken tender.
Just lost all my vegan subscribers.
He doesn't love a chicken tender because he's vegan.
There you go.
He doesn't love a chicken tender.
So back to the question. What musical risks would you like to take? If you could mix any different sounding with what you currently have right now, what would you consider rap, or would you get? Do you know this is something, right? We spoke about this on my chat with Cobra the other day. Rappers collaborate all the time. The rap. They'll be on pop singers tracks. They'll be on EDM tracks. Storms has just done one with Chasing Status that's #1 at the moment. They do it all the bloody time, but rock bands don't do it enough, especially smaller rock bands.
I think it's happening more and more. So it's like, I know the most recent one that comes to my mind is with Bad Omens. They did a song with that Poppy.
Okay, yeah.
And that was like, for their sound with her sort of voice, that was a great collab. But I think it's happening more in like the
didn't Bring Me the Horizon do one? Was it like Sigrid or something like that as well?
Yeah,
they've done a couple,
full of that sort of stuff. And it's like they did one on their last album previous to the new one. They did the Kingslayer with Baby Metal.
Yeah,
which is
sick.
Talking of Baby Metal, have you seen the collaboration that Baby Metal have done with Electric Callboy?
Yes.
No.
Tune.
Oh, is it good or bad?
It's both.
It's
it's good and bad in equal measure. It's awful but brilliant. I don't know how
it's
they
like
do it.
yeah.
But I'd like to mix
I don't know,
opera.
I think if you go down,
I'd like to do
that. Carry on.
I would like to mix opera.
Yeah,
I think I would also like to do an old school Run DMC style track with someone somewhere down the line. You know, like who did that? Was it Red Hot Chili Peppers? Red Hot Chili Peppers and Run DMC. Give me away.
No.
No, it was
Aerosmith.
Aerosmith.
It was
Aerosmith.
Yeah, it was Aerosmith. Yeah, it was Aerosmith.
Yeah.
Why do I think Red Hot Chili Peppers? But
Away is just a Red Hot Chili.
Would you try something like that? Would you give something like that a go?
I think though, we've got like one of the songs that we've just got. Well, we're starting to write at the moment. It's not completely done. It's a bit on a like grungy, like almost new metal side, isn't it? I think like you can kind of go.
I know you said on
got
the album, the last bit of it, you said it's got a very Rage Against the Machine sort of vibe.
Yeah, and I think you could get something on that. Yeah, I mean, I'd quite like to add in a bit more like electronic stuff, like in terms of like samples, synths, that sort of thing, because you can do so much, can't you? You can just
There's a lot more bands.
To the level, can't you?
There's a lot more bands now using the backing tracks and adding things into the set to give it a fuller sound. It's not something that we would probably do because we are very much about that sort of old school, sort of classic rock, sort of bluesy rock sound. But I know some bands who have done it really, really well. And it can add something just that little bit different to a set. But I just find the only reason why I wouldn't attempt it, the just stage setup looks so frigging complicated. Like you'd think just being able to hear a track back and then you got to split it. And I was just like, so bloody complicated.
But I think when it's done well, it makes the show. So I like the band. I'm not even a mega fan, but the best example is Architects nowadays.
Yes, yeah.
They are huge.
Have you heard of a band called Pop Evil as well?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. No, we did, yeah.
Love those guys.
So good.
Accidentally found them a couple of months ago.
Huge live sound. I think a lot of it is dependent on what you do. Like you're saying, if you're doing like that real, like what you do with Soul Revival, that sort of sound, it lends itself to just being done live on the day. You know, blues rock kick you in the face sort of thing.
Yeah.
But I think if you're doing that sort of, you're going for that atmospheric sort of thing. It's your lifeblood, your live sound.
I think the only reason we wouldn't try it is just because I think our music is so improvised that we did a show the other week and I just turned to the lads jokingly went, should we do the long version or the short version?
I heard it conversation similar to the show because when I said to you, a bit longer, and you were like, "Oh, should we do this one? Should we do that one?" And I was like,
and the lads were looking at me. They were like, "There is no long version. What are you talking about?" I was like, "Right, the long version it is. Let's go." And that was it. And then I just kind of made it up on the spot. And I feel like the only problem with using backing tracks is you just can't do that if you've got to play to a click. So it's got to be structured. That's the only thing. That's the only reason I wouldn't try it. But I don't criticize any bands that do try it because I think it can be really, really good. So, okay, so here we go. Now, you could be about to stir a massive melting pot of controversy now with this next question. Rock fans are known for their loyalty, but they also love a bit of controversy. So, what belief or unpopular opinion do you have about the current rock scene, rock band that might stir the pot?
We do not need an Oasis reunion. It doesn't need to happen. Leave it. It's done.
Didn't even have to think about it.
Was all I've heard today.
Yeah.
Yeah, but leave it alone. Don't want it.
Yeah, no.
Do you not think that part of the intrigue with that band is the fact that they just won't get back together? Like, and the fact that people want it is almost the reason why you should never do it.
It's
They just do separate things, don't they?
because they've not so much as said it's happening, but there's been stuff that's come out lately where both of them, the brothers, have basically gone, "I'm game if he is." So it's like,
Because
I
they
don't know if
both...
there's been any conversation.
The amount of money they make off that.
it'll be ridiculous. They'll be the biggest band in the world overnight again.
It'll be the biggest tour, at least in this country, that's ever happened.
Will they break Taylor Swift records?
No.
No, I don't think so.
Taylor Swift's worldwide. Oasis is UK.
She does.
Yeah.
Yeah. She does loads of other things as well, doesn't she? She doesn't just sing and go home.
She's an absolute legend. She's
So,
somehow we went to London.
Yeah, had a conversation with her.
We just went on a couple weekend away from my partner's 40th when my daughter stayed at her grandparents for the weekend, and all we've done is walking around all the shops. All Taylor Swift stuff there. We'll buy that. Should we get that? Should we get that? That's all we've done all weekend. She seems to have taken over the entire music industry lately.
I'm not a fan myself, but when you can do a tour like that and your support is Paramore, that's a statement. Like,
yeah,
that's nuts.
I think one of the things that she does, and I've talked about this so many times because I think all bands and artists should need to take a leaf out of this girl's book, because she's as a marketing person, she's an absolute genius. She just she gives so much back to her fans and does so much. She's brilliant at all of that kind of stuff. So anyway, you've stirred the pot there. You've pissed off all the Oasis fans. Talifa, what about you? What do you think?
I'm going to annoy more.
Oh, go on.
Just not a big Beatles fan. Just don't like the Beatles.
I agree.
Higgy and the band make me sing a Beatles
so
song.
Sorry. If you ask me to do a Beatles song, I'll be like, no, I'm so sorry. Just like, I appreciate their I appreciate their musicianship, and I can't take that away from them. And looking at like Sgt. Pepper's and kind of all the experimental stuff they did and that, and they did those collabs with
it's like one of them jokes. You just had to have been there, maybe. I don't know.
I don't know.
I can't.
We just got to come together.
Because when I'm teaching, you have to always teach it, and I'm like, no.
We actually
just kind of skim across it.
Yeah. We actually do a really heavy version of "Come Together." We do that in our set sometimes. We didn't do it the night we was with yourself.
Oh yeah.
But we do it. We do. Oh, don't get me wrong. I hate the song. The reason I don't hate the song, because I actually really like the version that Michael Jackson did of it. I thought his version was better. But anyway,
I've never heard it.
You've never heard that?
You'd know it by the bass line.
No. Would I?
Yeah, I do like the bass line. It is their best song, but the lyrics don't make any sense. And the way my brain works is if I can't visually picture a story, which is why I love Prince, because his songs were like stories. I like Miles Kennedy, Chris Cornell. They're storytelling songwriters. So I can imagine the picture, and I remember things in pictures. I don't actually remember the words, so that the story helps me remember the lyrics. That song makes no sense at all, so it won't stick. So every show I have to apologise before we start by saying, I'm going to get this wrong. Please help me sing it.
Yeah.
So, and that's not
Yellow
just
Submarine.
None of it makes sense. Right, so we don't want Oasis back. And Talifa hates the Beatles. There you go.
Everyone's gonna hate me. No one's gonna watch this ever again. Yeah, I had to do at uni. I had to do it was like a PowerPoint, like basically talking about the Beatles, and everyone was for and I was against. I did shake the room.
I'm with you, T. Don't worry.
What? Bring me Metallica. Was that like a mixture of bands? Like
yeah, we're okay with Metallica.
Metallica, good accent.
So
I'm okay with Metallica.
So we what is this question? I wrote these questions earlier and I just can't even think. I can't even read them now. If you had the power to time travel Would you go back to the golden era of rock and metal, or would you want to travel fast forward into the future and see what lies next?
I'll go back.
Yeah, I'd go back.
I don't like the idea of going forward. I don't know. It might be not what you expect it to be. It might be just awful. I don't know. I generally think that music was just so much better before. It's just you can't.
80s is 100%
Oh,
the
80s is
golden
100%.
era.
Yeah. 70s, 80s, 100%. Like,
I would want to go back 94, see the likes of Machine Head and Korn when they were like in the clubs.
Yeah.
In the heyday, yeah. Or 80s, go and see the festivals where you had like Metallica and just I don't know. I think music's just not as.
But
it's just all computer generated. A lot of it, do you know what I mean?
If you go into the future, you could have
corporate now.
Yeah,
like,
you could have Metalhead, like the remake, and it could literally be Metal Robots, like as the band. That's
no. Why?
Instead of
Do you know what I mean?
Motorhead,
I don't
you'll
watch
have
a
Metalhead.
robot. No, terrible.
Well,
absolutely terrible idea.
They'd made a band out of robots, and they actually played guitar and drums and all that, but they like programmed it all in, and they could only do one thing. But it was weird.
Yeah. Why do we automatically just assume that it's going to be robots? That it's going to do all the music.
I don't know.
It could still be humans.
Now, so.
It could still be humans, but I reckon. Do you know what I think is going to be the future of music? I don't actually think it's got anything to do with AI, but I think the way that we view music is going to be the biggest change. I genuinely think, because again, I've mentioned to you before on air, we are starting another YouTube channel, which is going to be live performances. We are going to put it behind a paywall. Because what we want to do is split the money with the artists that come onto the show, so that we can try and help, just raise cash for bands so that they can go and record another song, film a music video, or whatever it is, and with the view to one day having our own sort of pay-per-view festival of some description. But I think that VR is the VR, like virtual reality concerts, is going to be the big one. I heard Youngblood talking about festivals are just far too expensive for the average person to.
Someone did that recently. I can't think of it now. Was it Metallica? There was a thing through the MetaQuest thing.
Yeah.
It was like virtual reality. You were there out the kit. It's crazy.
Yeah, and also as well, there's who was it? Was it Wiz Khalifa or Drake or something? I think it might have been Drake. They did a virtual concert inside Fortnite.
Really?
I think it was in Fortnite. But it was definitely one of those games. People were buying virtual tickets to see a virtual version. So he actually did the show, I think, but he got like all things on him. It was all green screened and everything.
Yeah.
And then there was like a virtual version of him on a stage inside, and people were buying tickets through the computer game. And someone's paying.
That's Black Mirror sort of shit there.
I think it's going to happen more and more. I write songs for multiple people all over the place, different bands and everything. And I've just had one of my songs actually go onto Roblox, the kids' computer.
Really? That's cool.
Yeah, a song I wrote has just made it onto the kids' computer game Roblox. But I think that's the future of music, unfortunately. I think it'll be inside VR.
You say that, though, with like music going onto video games and that, but a lot of myself and a lot of people I know, we got a lot of our music tastes from old games, like the old Tony Hawk Pro Skater games, the Need for Speed games,
GTA.
Even some of the GTA games.
I love old school hip hop, man, because of that game.
Yeah. I've got vivid memories of it on one of the GTA games, just driving around with Bark at the Moon on the radio, and I was just like,
Vice City. That's the Vice City soundtrack.
It was it. But I think it's definitely like you can get music into video games like that, you're on a winner, because it's
Doom's good. I like Halo music as well.
Doom, what a game! I used to just run into walls endlessly on that. I was only ever good at FIFA. That was the only game I could play, man. I crap at all them gun games. No good.
No, FIFA is terrible. I just slide tackle everyone. So it's funny.
Right, right, guys. Lastly, we are coming up. We've done 49 minutes already. Can you believe that? It's gone really quick. Right, lastly, if your music could have one superpower to influence the world in 2024, what would it be, and how would you use it? It just runs into walls anyway. Someone's just.
Do you know who that is?
Miller Mad One. Who is that? Who are you, Miller Mad One? Come from behind your username and let us know who you really are.
I was saying, so you just watch. Do you run into walls?
They obviously know. They
obviously know you.
Maybe just because he's a bass player, they just assume he does stuff like that.
A superpower.
Yeah, so if your music had one superpower to influence the world, what would that power be, and how would you use it?
I have no idea.
I'm gonna say two. I'm gonna say world peace.
Oh, have you ever auditioned for a beauty pageant?
Yeah. Like world peace.
Hang on.
No, I haven't.
You should know, Whit.
Well, the only Miller, because I know it's Rob Mills. So if that's Miller, it could
have
be.
a look up your bedroom window just in case there's someone spying on you right now. So world peace, right? Yeah, she's trying to win some kind of award with that one. You're not going to get a Nobel Prize after this podcast, you know.
There's quite a few things, just people like the environment, but you're going to say the same thing as well.
Okay, yeah. So actually, VR concerts would help the environment because no one would be traveling to shows anymore. There you go.
Yeah. People just being less selfish and more friendly, but that's not really a superpower.
You come into my shop and abuse me.
It's Aaron. Yeah, okay.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
We've got to the bottom of that mystery.
It's not. I was starting to worry a little bit, like you didn't know.
I know it is.
I think if I'm going to go the opposite of you. I think rather than world peace, I think I wish our music would make people just a little bit more, not rebellious, but come out of their shell. Like encourage people to come out of their shells a little bit. Yeah, because I meet so many people and they're so put off by doing things like putting themselves out there and doing the things that they love, like on YouTube or whatever it is. They want to do it, but they won't do it because they're too scared of like people's comments. I wish my
ballsy, basically.
I wish my band superpower could be to influence people to not give a fuck anymore, like about what other people think. I think that would be
I like that.
Yeah. I think that could also cause trouble.
I could have more time to think rather than sort of in a beauty pageant.
I would like world peace and everyone to speak the same language. While she stands there in a little light box, and I bet she does this, and I bet she does this at the end as well.
Oh no!
No, don't do that,
None of that.
My missus hates it.
No, normally just me.
Yes, that's it. Come on, Whit. You got to have a superpower there with your bass. What superpower would you like to portray with your bass?
I'd like my music to have a superpower that makes people give us money.
Brilliant.
Oh, that's a good one. Brilliant. We're all rich.
There we go.
Mine was.
Buy our music. Buy our merch. Come to gigs. That's the superpower.
Okay, whilst we're on that then, because you've brilliantly segued again, why don't you let people know where can we find you? What are your handles on social media? Do you know them off the top of your head? I never know mine. I'm rubbish at this.
So, Facebook and Instagram, it's just Bright Black Band or Bright Black Official. It'll be under. The YouTube is Bright Black Official. We got all our got our current music video for Close to the Edge. I'm uploading random content on there constantly, like all the shorts. Awesome. We got behind the scenes footage from the studio and everything. And then with the TikTok, as well. I don't know what's the handle on that one.
TikTok, yeah, good old TikTok.
That's quite Black Official as well, yeah.
Of
Yeah,
course,
Bright Black Official as well. We're not doing too bad on that, to be fair. Like, we're getting a bit on there, which is good. A lot of it is just literally the most random photos, but
it's the
videos,
strangest. It's just a really strange platform. I just find it
the
really.
algorithm.
Sometimes you get loads, sometimes you don't.
I just don't. There's no rhyme or reason to it. It's just chaos. And if the bill has been passed now that it's going to get banned in America, they're just waiting. They've given them an ultimatum.
They've actually passed that.
Yeah, well, I think they've basically got 6 months to sell the company, and if they don't sell it, they're going to ban it.
Why?
That's crazy.
Because America see it as a national security threat because of all the data they collect.
China, doesn't it? And it's,
yeah.
But
so
it's like the CEO is Singaporean, and there's a whole video where he's in like trial or whatever it was, and they're sort of asking him about the Chinese company. He's like, I'm Singaporean.
Yeah,
and then
he answers.
Keep asking him about China, and he's just like, I'm Singaporean. Like, what do you want?
I know, it's crazy. That's a mad interview. America, I don't know. Sometimes I feel like if they don't own it, it's like, well, that shouldn't be allowed. It's bigger than our thing.
They don't want it. Yeah.
And I think maybe Mark Zuckerberg doesn't like the fact that he can't buy them. Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's probably got something to do with it. Anyway, guys, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on. We did one the other night with Cobra as a rapper. I'm trying to introduce people to all types of music and listen to people's opinions on music because we're all going through the same struggle. It's difficult. It's probably easier for us to get gigs right now than it is like rappers and pop artists because there's probably more rock-centric venues around the country. Venues have been is an issue. I do plan to have some owners of venues on this as well, so hopefully we get to hear their side and speak to some promoters. I want to try and get everyone on here so we can start batting around some ideas and asking weird questions. That's how I like to roll. But thank you very much for coming on. I'll put links all over the place so people can find you. And we'll push this video out. But thank you very much for coming on, and we will be back with another episode very, very soon. Goodbye.